Who's ever lived paycheck to paycheck, struggled on paying their bills? I had a truck that wasn't just repoed once, but twice. And the second time it got repoed, imagine this, in my work parking lot. So now I have the front office lady come into the back office, knocking on my door saying, Jason, I think you need to get up front. They're hooking your car up. This was a defining moment for me where I really had to take a look at my life because I felt like I was failing my wife. I was failing my family. So I had to make a turn for the better, and I had to make it quick. So I went to the owner, I said, man, give me the opportunity. I want to be a comfort advisor, and he ended up letting go a comfort advisor that week. My first 8 months of the calendar year, I ended up doing 2.2 million. I had an average ticket of 10,500. I had a closing percentage of 50% on tech turnovers and 47% on marketed calls. Now, as I fine-tuned my skills throughout the years, I've done well over 4 million as a comfort advisor. I've closed over 67% on marketed calls, 72% on tech turnovers. I really dialed in my skills where now I'm going to events. Business owners are hearing my numbers. Comfort advisors are hearing my numbers. There's a want, there's a need. So I went back home and I said, how can I reach more people instead of going to these conferences every quarter? And that's when the podcast was born, HVAC Masters of the Hustle. So the podcast is designed to put heavy hitters inside the hot seat so we could talk about not just their successes, we see all that on social media. What I want to talk about in the hot seat is the struggles. These are the stories that you'll find on the podcast, and it's really rewarding. The training game started as me thinking I was going to help elevate people to get them to the next level, but there's a way bigger picture than this. I sit down, I get to know them on a personal level, not just business. I believe that we all have a Spartan inside of us, we just have to tap into it. If you all know my story, my wife and I, we adopted both of our boys. We are making an impact not only in the HVAC industry, but also giving back to kids in the foster adoption agency as well, because there's too many kids that are lost right now. They need guidance, they need help, they need mentors, they need love, they need a family. So every time that we have a company that signs up for a training or purchases any swag or anything, we donate a big amount to that, again, to help kids that are in need. So Spartans, again, it's my job, my duty, and my obligation to bring you to the next level.
Let's go. Who's ready for the next level? No, y'all. I'm California time, so I'm 2 hours behind, and that was some weak shit right there. So who's ready for the next level? Let's go. So before I start the training, I first off want to tell Hook Agency thank you for putting on such an amazing event today, bringing people across all the nation to one location that everyone here wants to better themselves. 2025 is our year to go through any obstacles, challenges, anything that was 2024 to bring us to the next level in 2025. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be talking and training about customer experience when it comes to a sales process. And you could use this for comfort advisors, comfort specialists, sales professionals, technicians. They could use this as well. But really what I want to home in today is the customer experience, and then also what's possible within the trades of HVAC.
This game far from over. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Yes. You're trying to blow my heart out. At that moment, I was sitting on the sideline saying, let's just get one touchdown. And we got one. And you said, you know what? We got to get one stop. And we got to stop on defense. We drove the ball down the field and ended up kicking a field goal. So we're down 28-12. And I'm looking up at the scoreboard and I said, it's a two-score game. Come on, team. We need one play. We need one play. And then we get this drip sack from Hightower. Knocks the ball off Matt Ryan. We had some juice. Got the ball, went down the field, scored, got the 2 point. It's a one-score game. So those little plays that snowball, you go from 28 threes to 25 points to, oh wow, 2-score game.
So watching this video, who remembers that Super Bowl? I mean, we thought they were down.
right? And all of a sudden, Tom Brady shows up, the GOAT that he is. Why was he able to do that? Belief, mindset, but also understanding every situation that you get yourself into. As professionals, we have to understand the situations that we get ourselves into every single time as technicians, as comfort advisors. You know, you think of Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, those guys are doing endless game videos, game films after game films after game films, studying every single position. And we're going to talk about that, how to make yourself a GOAT within the industry, which today you're going to have high-level performers in this room. And I highly suggest everyone in here to find those high performers and network with them. Because I used to come to these events 15 years ago when I started in the trades, and I was the guy sitting in the back. The guy scared to talk to everyone, the introvert, just to let you know I am an introvert, and I'll go into that a little bit too. But we're talking about passing the baton. So within our companies, there's different departments, but there shouldn't be any division. And as I travel the nation, just to let you all know, see a raise of hands, who's ever heard of HVAC Masters of the Hustle? All right, full room. Thank you for the love and the support, y'all. But as I travel the nation, I'm one of the fastest sales trainers in the nation. I'm on the road about 150 to 170 days out of the year. And what I notice is companies don't understand that there's departments, but they divide everything, okay? And what they need to understand is the full customer experience from answering the phone, the CSRs, hearing that happy smile come across that phone call, hearing the high energy come across on a late evening, after hours, whatever it is. You know, that's the customer service, the questions that are asked to pass the baton to the technician to set them up for success. Vice versa, if the technician goes out there, maybe it's a turnover or a flip to a comfort advisor, what are they doing to pass the baton to the comfort advisor? But then the biggest chink that I see in any company that I go to is always, man, you're going to love this, the sales team and the install team. Man, they hate each other, right? And why is that? Because I was one of them. Sales professionals are lazy. It's true. And so why are they lazy? They don't pass the baton off correctly. So we'll talk about what you do as a professional when you sell the job to make sure that you bridge the gap within your team so you can continue that great culture and that great customer experience. Damn it. So what I'm going to go over is I'm going to go over and break this down into 7 steps. The first step we're going to call the introduction door knock. Very easy. We'll break that down. Then we're going to talk about a comfort survey and the reason and the psychology behind the comfort survey. After that, we're going to talk about a PowerPoint presentation and the importance about talking about a PowerPoint presentation within your appointment. Heat load calculations, going out there, engineering the job, being different than everyone else, involving your homeowner with your process. Spartan brag bag, showing the homeowner all the visuals of everything. Warranties. One thing that Lee's was talking about is, man, when you have an average ticket of $26,000 and they're going against companies that are $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, how do you bridge that gap? How do you bridge the gap of being $5,000, $4,000, $6,000, even $10,000 higher sometimes? Hopefully I'll give you the skills and the ammunition that you could bridge that gap with your homeowner or your clients today. And then presenting options, and then the full circle of what you do as that professional. The full circles, testimonial videos, going out to your installs, making sure that everything that you promise gets delivered. So when we're going to the home and we get dispatched our call, a lot of times we start fumbling around and we pull up to the house and we start grabbing our stuff and our tools, and sometimes we're disorganized and we're out in our truck or our van for a minute, maybe calling dispatch, closing out, talking to a technician. And what do you think the homeowner is doing the whole time you're out there in front of the house? Probably looking out their window, anticipating that y'all are going to be out there because they got that phone call or dispatch from the CSR or dispatch team. So what we have to understand is, as professionals, okay, we're being judged in how long? 5 seconds. That homeowner answers that door, Within 5 seconds, they know or they have some type of feeling about you already. Let that sink in. So ask yourself this question as you're sitting here today. What are you doing to start breaking down that homeowner's walls? What are you doing to gain control of the appointment? Because here's the thing, everyone. I go to appointments still today, riding along with technicians, and what I see is homeowners controlling the beginning of the appointment. You go out there, the technician knocks on the door. Hey, I got to go jump on a Zoom call. Go do what you need to do. Let me know when you're done. And then they go to the thermostat. They turn the thermostat on. They might ask a couple questions, but then they start their evaluation, their tune-up. Well, here's the thing, y'all. If they're controlling the beginning of the appointment, who do you think is going to control the close? So why do we let them control what we're doing? We're professionals. We're the doctors of the industry. Do we go to the doctors and tell them, hey, I got a broken arm, but no, I don't want you to do this, right? No, they have protocols. Why? Because they're professional. There's things, checks and balances that they have to do just like us. So as we're getting prejudged within 5 seconds, I actually want to ask someone, I told you I'm an introvert, okay? So for me being in front of a room of 100 people right now, being in Las Vegas, talking in front of thousands of people, is outside my norm, outside my comfort level. But what I also teach and preach is that when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and man, you could succeed in uncomfortable situations, sky's the limits of what everyone could do when they are comfortable. So I'm always putting my team and people that I'm training in uncomfortable situations because, man, if we thrive here, look what we're going to do out there. So what I want to do is I want to take a brave volunteer real quick. Who would like to show me what their introduction door knock looks like in front of this room? You'll get something. Anybody? Brave soul. Brave soul. All right, let's go. What's your name? Ryan? Let's give Ryan a hand. Hey, this takes guts. This takes guts to do.
You want me to get up?
Yeah, get up here.
Okay, sure.
So I'm going to be the homeowner. You're going to pretend the door's right here.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and knock on the door. Just do your normal introduction. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Ryan here.
Very nice to meet you, Ryan.
Called you ahead on the way. Ready to take a look at your system?
Okay.
How's your day going?
My day's going pretty good. You know what? The unit's around back. I could pop up the garage open. The furnace is in our garage. I'm going to jump on a phone call real quick if you're okay with that. You go ahead and get started. Just let me know when you're done.
Yeah. Would there be a good time to check in with you?
At the end.
Okay. Well, if I see anything important, I'd love to be able to go over that with you. And I always use some visual cues so I kind of explain what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, and make sure that you understand it as well. Does that work for you?
Yeah, just let me know whatever pictures or anything that you find. That's fine. And then where do you go from here?
So I guess I'd really like to make sure that you understand what we're seeing and any recommendations that we might have. If I see anything important, I'd love to be able to go over that with you before I leave today.
All right, give him a hand. Give him a hand. Good job, Ryan. Here you go, Ryan. There you go, big dog. All right, so breaking down, I'm going to lose this clicker. Sorry, I'm like ADD. All right. So going over the door knock introduction real quick, I'm going to do some highlights. So what the door knock introduction looks like, it's called the universal warm-up. I didn't make this up. I've been doing this trade for 15 years, and this is something that I was introduced to 15 years ago that they still use today. So what's going to happen is I'm going to knock on the door. I'm going to stand back about 10 feet. If they got stairs, I'm going to be on the last stair, 45-degree angle because it's welcoming. I'm going to shoot them a wave. Hey, how you doing? My name's Jason with Royalty Heat and Air. It looks like my note says Bob Johnson. Do you want me to call you Mr. Bob or Mr. Johnson? So I'm going to introduce me, my company's name, because sometimes they call 3 companies at the same time to show up and they don't know who the hell you are, right? So you want to stop the confusion up front. But identify who you are, the company. Identify the client by first or last name and how they want to be addressed. After you address them by first or last name, show a level of concern. Okay? A lot of us say, hey, is it all right where I parked my car? And the reason why we ask this question is a lot of time it's our first time out there. We're strangers. We're going to be there an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, okay? We need to respect their property, and we're getting judged in 5 seconds, okay? So I'm going to show a level of concern. Hey, Bob, Betty, is it all right where I parked my vehicle? But then after they tell me yes, I don't stop. I got to figure out the psychology behind it and tell them the reason why I'm asking the question, or there's no value. So, hey, Bob, the reason why I'm asking, I know you said it's okay to park there, but it's my first time out here. I really want to respect your property. I'm going to be here 60, 90 minutes. I just want to make sure the kids, the wife, the neighbors, no one's parking there. All right, awesome. You mind if I come on in? Now, as I come on in, I'm going to put on my what? Booties. I heard shoe covers, floor savers. We're going to call them floor savers. Okay, we're not going to call them booties. We're not going to call them shoe covers. Shoe covers protects your shoes. Floor savers protects their floors. Okay? Psychology behind it. So as we put on our floor savers, what does the homeowner say 90% of the time?
Oh, you don't have to.
Ah, you don't have to do that, right? I hear it all the time. And then as a technician, as a comfort advisor, you're kind of in the limbo like, you know what? Company says it's mandatory, but it's Bob's house. Bob owns the house. He says don't worry about it. And you're like, you know what? Screw it. Put them in your pocket, walk in, right? We have to keep the same level of professionalism every single time, every single appointment, okay? So a lot of times, hey, you don't have to do that. Oh, Bob, I'm here to make an impression on you, not your floors. Man, tough crowd, huh? I'm kidding. But crack a joke. Start breaking down the walls. Drop the walls down. When I'm at the door, I'm also going to ask what prompted today's appointment. So, hey, Bob, what prompted today's appointment for me being out here today? I already know this shit. I went through my CRM notes. I'm already set myself up for success. But also at the end of the day, what? Buyers are liars. Okay? If you notice, they'll tell dispatch anything they want to hear on the phone to get you out there. But then the second you go out there as the professional, they want to withhold information. They want to play poker with you. They don't want you to ask for business, right? Shit, you called me out. So what we got to do is, hey, what prompted today's appointment? And then what is your expectations out of me today? When's the last time you asked someone that question? Hey, what's your expectations out of me today? Why would I ask that up front? Well, shit, it's smart to exceed their expectations, right? My job every single time is to meet and exceed expectations. Every single time I'm at the house. It's all about the customer relationship and about the customer experience. Okay? The last thing is time commitment. As a technician, you want to ask time commitment because the last thing you want to do is come down from an attic, up from a basement, from the backyard, and all of a sudden you have both thermostat touchers in the home or decision makers, and now all of a sudden the wife had to leave the house to go get the kids, and the kids have karate, and then all of a sudden they ain't going to be home till 9 o'clock at night. So that's why I get my expectations and time commitment up front. So real quick, this is what it looks like. Hey, how you doing? My name is Jason with Royalty Heat and Air. It looks like my note says Mr. Bob Johnson. Do you want me to call you Mr. Bob or Mr. Johnson? All right, call you Bob. Hey, Bob, before I come on in, is there where I park my vehicle? It is? All right, cool. The reason why I'm asking, it's my first time out here. I want to make sure I respect your property. I'm going to be here about 60 to 90 minutes, so you sure the neighbors, the kids, no one's going to be parking there? All right, you mind if I come on in? All right, as I come on in, I'm going to go ahead and put my floor savers on. Would you like the door open or closed? I'll go ahead and close it behind me. So let me ask you a question, Bob. What prompted today's appointment? Okay, what's your expectations out of me today? Okay, awesome. Well, today's going to take anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a full safety evaluation of the home on the heating tune-up side. I'm going to be going all the motors, all the wiring, all the connections on the gas, the flue pipe, all the safety for you and your family, because that's pretty important, wouldn't you say? Now, if I happen to find anything outside manufacturer specs today, do you want me to bring that to your attention? All right, awesome. Now, also before I start, I'm a stranger here. It's my first time out here. Maybe it's your second time out here. But what I like to do is not guess with your hard-earned money today. Even as a technician, I'm not going to go to the thermostat, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to the table. The reason why I'm going to the table is where you start is where you finish. And where do people do business? At the table where they're comfortable, okay? And a lot of times after I see the introduction door knock, what I see is I see the technician going to the thermostat. And they're going, hey, Bob, can you turn the thermostat on me to identify that your system works? Okay, cool. I'll ask a couple questions at the thermostat, and then I'm going to go do my tune-up. Well, here's the thing, y'all. Everyone that is inside that house, you are a stranger to that person. And now you got to flip the role, and you got to look at it as, I'm a stranger, and the first thing that I do is I go walk around after the thermostat. I go walk in to, we'll say, do a CFM check on all the supply registers to make sure they have adequate airflow. And I go into the son's room who's 8 years old. And then I go to the daughter's room who's 14 years old. And then I go into the master closet to get up to the attic. How are you going to feel? You're going to feel kind of uncomfortable. This is why I'm a big believer about relationship before business. Not getting tunnel vision, but go to the table and don't guess with their hard-earned money. Use this comfort survey as a roadmap to create what your appointment's going to look like for the next 60 to 90 minutes. So I'm just going to go over this really quick. While I'm going over this with the homeowner, what I'm doing is I'm not just asking questions off of this, I'm building a relationship off of it. I'm asking more questions. I don't sound robotic, okay? After a while, you could remember this stuff. So first question I asked, hey, Bob, I was driving up, beautiful neighborhood. How long have you lived here? I lived here 15 years. Awesome. Man, how old's the home? 30 years old. Oh, awesome. So you're the second owner. That tells me without you telling me. Here's also the crazy thing. Technicians and salespeople suck at listening. Homeowners tell us so much valuable information in their house, and it goes one ear and out the other. And then my next question goes to how old's your current system? And they say 15 years old, 20 years old maybe. Now that tells me a lot of information without them even telling me. They're second owners of the home. The system was replaced before. If it was placed 10 years ago, they didn't replace it. But if it was placed 15 years ago, they might have replaced it, right? So you're gathering more information. You're being the Tom Brady of the team so you could set yourself up for the best success possible. You're being a chameleon. I'm going to ask what temperature they like to keep the thermostat in the wintertime and summertime. How many thermostats are in the home? When you dial it in at 70 degrees in Hawaii or Aspen, let me ask you, does it seem like it's continuously running, or is it cycling on and off pretty well? Okay, if it's cycling on and off pretty well, that's great. If it's not, man, with your system continuously running, is that driving your utility bill up or your utility bill going down? I'm asking a lot of buying questions. Okay, I'm getting the homeowner to start buying into what I'm telling them. The next thing that I'm going to ask is if there's any uncomfortable hot or cold spots in the home. I'm going to build a case. I'm not just going in there tunnel vision to do my tune-up or my engineer analysis of the home, but I'm going in there and I'm looking at the full envelope of everything. I'm looking at hot water heaters. I'm looking at ductwork. I'm looking at insulation. I'm looking at radiant barriers in the attic. I'm looking at everything possibly that I can possibly inform and educate my homeowner so they can make the best decision possible and have the most efficient system possible for their needs and wants. So as I continue to walk through this, what I'm doing is I'm asking questions to build my case. And then the biggest questions are down here. If you're on a system replacement, you got to ask the money question. And you got to ask the money question up front at the beginning of the appointment, because I'm sorry to tell you, if you don't ask it up front, you're going to get the objection at the end. And you got to get the budget. You got to be able to create options that are affordable to the homeowner without taking food off the table. How do you do that? You got to know your financing. You got to understand your financing as a tool, and you got to understand who your buyers are. Okay? Payment buyers are going to be longer terms, might be higher APR, but how do you present it? You talk about the high interest rate and the length of the term. Do you create your own obstacles and challenges within that appointment? Those are some things that I don't talk about. I let the homeowners bring that up, and then I inform and educate them on that stuff. So, hey, Bob and Betty, what type of budget do you have in mind for a new system? So our technician was out here, or I'm out here explaining everything, and you got about $2,000 to $4,000 in repairs today. or $2,000 in repairs to get this 20-year-old system back up to manufacturer specs. Your $4,000 to $8,000 is, hey, I just want to worry about doing just the furnace today and just doing half the system. Or one thing that you told me is energy efficiency is important to you. So looking at the full system replacement, starting at our federal minimum, which is a 14 SEER, they go all the way to 20 plus. But our mid to low end, you're about 12 to 15. And then from mid-range to high-end, you're about 15 to 20 plus. So after I ask the budget question, I have to also ask my finance question. Now, typically, I don't care about what their budget is. I'm still going to ask the question because it's the financing that's going to be the tool that makes it affordable without taking food off the table. So Bob and Betty, hey, if I'm fortunate enough to design the safest and most economical system guaranteed to meet your needs today, is there any reason why I can't ask for business? It's a hard question to ask right there. And I ask it at the beginning of the appointment at the table every single time. And the reason why I ask it is because it's my job and my responsibility to be as efficient as we can. And when we talk about being efficient as we can, it's my job to get a yes or no, not a maybe so. I want to drive this to a conclusion today. And I let the homeowner know that on the front side. To me, to be able to do my job today and to make sure that I crossed, all my T's and dotted all my I's and delivered the best customer service is to bring this to a conclusion today. And you can tell me yes or no, and no's a perfectly okay answer. I'm going to tell them that. I don't want to leave the job going back to my car saying, what if? And then understanding that, hey, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Does that call ever come? No. Most likely not. Sometimes it does. I also have to understand that, hey, if I leave this opportunity and the chances of me getting back in the door is going to be less than 10% if I leave. So I'm not going to go into objection handling. Joe Criseri could do that today. But you got to stay inside the batter's box. You can't give up easy. They throw you a high inside fastball, you stay inside. You adjust your hands, right? And you still hit the ball. Same thing with these objections. You stay inside the batter's box, you work on your tool to overcome them, and you take batting practice, batting swings, and that's how you become a true professional. So making sure that you're asking budget questions, you're creating a roadmap, you're sitting down with the homeowner at the beginning of the appointment. Now, this is a PowerPoint presentation that I go over after the comfort survey. These are just a couple pictures that we have on one slide. So the PowerPoint presentation is to introduce who you are, because again, you're a stranger. You're new to that homeowner, that client's house. So you're talking about yourself. You're talking about your company, the accomplishments. First off, why do you work for the company you work for? I hear I'm getting 3 bids all the time. Well, y'all already did the research for the homeowner. You picked this company to supply your income for you and your family. That to me is pretty important, why you made the decision. So why don't you go over why you chose the company you chose and what they stand behind and what their values, mission statement is. People and clients want to hear that stuff, but we fail to talk about it all the time. I walk into companies all the time and I'll see their mission statement right there on the wall, bold, but then I'll go to their employee and I'll say, hey, tell me what your vision statement says. Oh, well, I don't know. But then I go to elite companies like Lee's and John Wayne and Any Hour, and those guys are reciting them right at the beginning of their trainings. That's how they start, is by reciting what those vision statements are and mission statements are to make sure that everyone in the company understands the philosophy of the company and where they're going. So the PowerPoint is to introduce yourself, introduce your company, to also plant seeds and nuggets about the install, about the tune-up, what you're going to be doing, especially if it's an install. We have to understand we do this stuff every single day. Every single day. Homeowners only purchase systems once or twice in their life. And it's a big investment. One of the biggest investments for your home. And we take it lightly a lot of times. So we have to not talk tech lingo, because when we start talking that tech lingo and try to confuse that homeowner, a confused mind says what? No. No, right? I hear some trainers talking about torque booster, this, and I'm like, dude, just get to the basics of shit. Like, stop trying to confuse the homeowner. A confused mind says no, okay? Also, to create doubt and fear to do business with your competitors. So this slide right here, I'm not going to go super in depth on it, but this is a horizontal furnace right here. So I tell our clients, not only do we have our people calling us because of our amazing reviews online and social media, but we also get a lot of our competitors calling us clients because of the installs. So here are some installs that we corrected from some of our installs. This is a horizontal furnace, Bob and Betty, located in the attic. And I'm going to ask them, what do you think's wrong with it? A lot of times they'll say maybe a couple things, or they'll say, I don't know. But I'm going to inform and educate. It should be on a plywood platform called the catwalk. You have a blower motor right here, which we call the scroll cage. So when we do the install, we knock out little hole garments at the bottom. That's the nose of the system. So as you can see, it's starting to suck insulation into that unit. Bob and Betty, what do you think that could do? They're going to build the case for me. Technicians like to tell what it's going to do. I'm going to ask what it's going to do to build my case. As I continue to talk about it, it should also have a pan right here. So if it condensates, where's the moisture going to go? Well, Bob and Betty, where do you think the moisture is going to go in this scenario? I would have to agree with you. So I'm creating doubt and fear without talking shit on my competitors, okay? Because I hear that all the time as I'm walking around is, oh, you don't want to do business with them because they just got an acquisition and changed hands and ownerships and this and that. It's like, don't go out there and talk shit about your competitors. Just create fear and doubt to do business by just showing facts, pictures, things that you've done to overcome whatever's going on in your market. I'm very passionate about this, so I got a lot of goodies behind me right here. Who in here sells indoor air quality? Okay. Whose team in here struggles selling indoor air quality? Okay. So I'm a big believer, the bigger the show, the bigger the what? The bigger the dough, right? The bigger the show, the bigger the dough. So I'm a big believer in the product of Air Scrubber, and the reason why is because they give you the freaking tools to be successful. And their product works. I have 2 in my house. I got 1 in my rental. I'm a big believer because I've seen it work on me and my family. So when I talk about setting you up for success, okay, anyone ever see these that they give you? Well, I got some to give you. I don't have enough for everyone, but they give you these cool books. I'm going to use my big voice, okay? And this book, if your technician is not a communicator, all they have to do is put this book in the homeowner's hand, and it's going to sell itself, okay? If they do this 10 times, 4, 5, 6 might say yes. 1 might say yes. But it's the fact of doing it and repetition and doing it every single time. So they make these great video books. How does Active Pure technology work? It's a video that's going to explain it right here.
SARS-CoV-2 and other pathogens, our indoor spaces have become a source of anxiety.
The next video, what is Air Scrubber by Airs? It's going to go back, more technology of it. And then third party, a doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sally Faradiz. I'm around.
So how I sell indoor air quality, the bigger the show, the bigger the dough. Y'all might want to write this down because this will change your income dramatically, okay? So if you go, you do the comfort survey, the first thing you do is you go get sandwich bags, wet wipes, and a Sharpie. And if you invest $3, this $3 is going to add $20,000, $30,000 to your income, I promise you. I train this all across the nation. I could show you guys text message threads of this changing people's lives. So what I do is I go to the return intake, I take down that filter, I get up on my ladder, and I do a duct swab. And I put that duct swab inside that sandwich bag, and I write return on it, and then I take down the supply, I do the same thing. I write supply. And I try to get those duct wipes as dirty and nasty as I can. And then what happens is I write the homeowner's first name, their last name, their address on it. And a lot of times I'm out there with Susie, who's the woman of the home, and my wife
Takes a lot of pride. She's back there. Takes a lot of pride how clean our house is. And so a lot of times when we're starting in the kitchen, right, that's where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it on the kitchen table where I was just sitting. My laptop's out. Everything's all spread out. And what's going to happen is while I start my evaluation or my tune-up, the homeowner is going to walk by it and they're going to see their information and they're going to see this nasty thing in their kitchen. And I talk about touching the homeowner every 15 to 20 minutes to have them a part of your process. The first time you walk down to the out of the attic to go grab a tool, I just go, hey, Betty, quick question. Do you have any questions for me? I'm going to go grab some tools real quick. And a lot of times they go, hey, what is this? What is this right here? And I don't tell them, I show them. So what I do is I say, so come over here. What I did was I stood on top of your ladder and I performed a duct swab. And this is your filter. What does that look like? Man, I change it every month. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Well, what happens is I put my hand up there, and what do you see inside this bag? I'm not saying it. The homeowner's saying it. Dust, dirt, mold, whatever it is, okay? I'd have to agree with you, Susie. Susie, let me ask you a question. Knowing that it went past the filter and we did the duct swab, where do you think this dust and dirt, based off what you said, is going? It's going in my system. It's going in my house. Okay, I'd agree with you. I'm letting them tell me and I'm agreeing to them. So let me ask you a question. Now you saying that it's going into your system, what kind of damage do you think it could do to your system? What else? What else? What else? What else? Until they can't tell you anything else. Let them build the case for you. Why, as a technician, are we always trying to build the case for ourselves? Get good at asking open-ended questions, and then the homeowner says this. Okay, I agree with you. Now, not only can it cause damage to the system based off what you said, you also said it's getting in your house. So if it's damaging your system by boom, 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 what they said, what do you think it's doing to your health, your family's health? Earlier in our comfort survey, we talked about indoor air quality and the asthma and allergies, and you were talking about little Susie, your daughter, and how sometimes her allergies turn asthmatic and how that makes you feel as a parent to watch her struggle to breathe. Now let me ask you a question. What would you like to do about this now that you're aware of it and I'm out here? Well, you know what, Jason? What can I do about it? Or I want to get rid of it. But now it's a conversation, and now not being tunnel vision and just doing the tune-up, but now you could start having communication and conversations about other stuff. So now I'd let them know there's things that we could do about it. I grabbed my air scrubber book. I could start putting that in their hands. But a lot of times I'm not done with my tune-up yet. So I'll say, hey, you know, this is just the first part of it. Let me go back up there, look at the system. One thing we were saying is that it will get in the unit. So let me take the assembly of the scroll cage apart, and we'll take it from there. And then what I do is, instead of taking pictures like technicians, right, they'll reach their hand in there, show the homeowner pictures. Well, you know what? It's too easy for the homeowner to tell you no when you show them pictures. Because you might have been there for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours already. They don't want you there any longer. Or on the other side, maybe they don't want to add more work to your schedule. So they tell you, no, I'll take care of it next time. But I'm telling you, if you display and you pull that blower out every single time, and you have the motor sitting here, you have the blower sitting there, you have your hose set up, you have your chemical pump right there, and you say, hey, Susie, can you come outside with me real quick? So we had the conversation earlier at the return intake and what kind of damage that could do to your system. Well, now I have your system open. Come here. What do you see on the blower wheels right here? Dust and dirt. Oh. Well, let me ask you a question. Earlier you said that the damage it could do, so we have two things right now, and it's completely up to you. I got my chemical spray, everything ready for a cleaning. I could perform a system rejuvenation, which is a $675 investment, or I could go ahead and assemble it back in dirty and continue my tune-up. What would you like to do from here? It's pretty hard to say, you know what, put it back in dirty and continue. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but 7 out of the 10 there, you're going to leave with a system rejuvenation cleaning at least. And you're not leaving with what? A 0 ticket. And as you continue to get good at talking about indoor air quality, You start selling air scrubbers. You start selling duct cleanings, duct replacement, and you start getting higher average tickets on just indoor air quality products. So you get these amazing brag books or these amazing books from Air Scrubber, but I also don't stop there. When I'm doing my comfort survey, I plug my CBS machine, indoor air quality, and I test the air while I'm doing my comfort survey. And then I also plug this in while I'm doing my tune-up, and I run the same test. So this is a plug-in air scrubber right here. It's good for, I think, 300 square feet. So you plug it into a room, you do your test. Seeing's believing, right? When I go to and I travel, I put all these in my hotels. When I'm traveling in the back at the airport, I got a little air scrubber thing that goes around, and it's like this big, and it puts you in a bubble. You see a lot of people on planes wearing masks and everything, and I'm like, well, why wear a mask when you got a bubble? And it's a conversation now. I don't look like an idiot, right? So knowing what you're doing, but then they don't just give you these in the house to test. They don't just give you this, but they also give you a smoke test. So right now I'm in California, and what do they say? California's on fire right now. So why wouldn't I perform a smoke test in front of the homeowner and plug this in and show them the product works? Because seeing is in what? Exactly. So if you just tell them and show them a book, maybe that might not be good enough. But now, if I could take this, plug it in, take my drops right here of my smoke drops, and I put it right here in the middle, and I hit this button, it's going to start smoking the box. And it's going to completely smoke it up where you can't see through it anymore. And then I'm going to hit my ionizer brush. And then I'm also going to hit my fan. And within seconds, all the smoke is gone. It's a clear box just like this. Seeing is believing, okay? You got to add this stuff into your process. You can't take away from your process. Also, sometimes we go to, there's two versions of air scrubbers, okay? So this is a big plug-in. So we go to some houses that don't have ducts, okay? Ductless house, no way to get in the attic to run ducts, no subfloor. You could plug this into a house. This is their portable model. This is for 3,000 square feet, okay? The cost of these at Ferguson, I think, are the same price, about $395, $400. The other version is the ducted air scrubber. I got 2 of these in my system. This is the other form of it. But when I talk about this stuff, I put it inside I put this in the homeowner's hand. I grab this tape every time I walk in, and I unseal it, and I cut it in front of them, and I put it in their hand because now they feel like they own it, okay? If they don't buy it, I just put my clear tape back on it. Go back to the next person because they're going to own it next, okay? Damn clicker. Oh, here we go. So if you guys, let me ask, who wants some air scrubbers real quick? I got one more for the back. I'm just throwing it. You guys catch it. Watch out, it's heavy. After I'm done talking, if you guys want the air scrubber books, I would run up here and grab them because there's probably about 30 and there's about 60 of us in the room, okay? So you guys run up here and grab this. While you're in the home also and you're doing your engineer analysis, you're building your case, okay? One thing that you also need to do is you got to measure the windows as a comfort advisor. I was listening to Lee say that, they don't do that. They have another person that comes in and do that. It gets done though, okay? So we need to make sure that it gets done, because if it doesn't get done and I go behind you or someone from my team goes behind you, oh, we're going to create so much fear and doubt to do business with you. You're done. You're so done. Get the homeowner engaged with your process. Have them walk around. Give you the evaluation of the home. Create form. Before I give price, I go through my analogy form, F-O-R-M. How much longer do I got? Okay. I go through FORM. FORM stands for Family, Occupation, Recreational, and Materials. Okay, if you're going through your options and you're about to sit at the table and you don't know anything about what they did for work, you haven't created enough friendship or relationship to give them ammunition to give them price. If you fail and give price too early, that is your only ammunition. You are done. And you got to protect your price. So understand family, occupation, recreational, and material things. Talk about all of those. Paint a picture of the install. What does the install look like? This is
You're probably asking yourself, what's in the Spartan brag bag? What I want to do is I want to go ahead and educate you on why we do this and what's in it. You know, the reason why we do this.
So that's a 10-minute video. I'm not going to play it because I don't have that much time. So with that video, this is our big show training that we have, part of HVAC Masters of the Hustle. But this talks about all the visuals of everything because, again, homeowners do this once or twice in their life. They're not educated. So a confused set mind says no. There's 3 types of learners out there: visual, audio, and sensory. When I'm in my appointment, I'm making sure I hit everything across the board. So there is no confused mind to say no at the end. I'm talking about gas flex line. I'm talking about thermostats, Nuva thermostat. I'm talking about the different gauges of sheet metal. I'm talking about silver, 15% silver sod compared to 5% silver sod. I'm talking about bubble wrap insulation to fiberglass insulation. So I'm showing all that. Here's my good buddy Cheeto. This is not how to do it.
Whoa, what is that?
Don't worry, it's not the bomb.com. Well, kinda. But anyways, listen, let me show you my Spartan bag. This is some things that we use to make sure we do a wonderful job in the field. Look at this, we got this, I like to call this the King on 2. Because look. Cool. You wanna feel it? Anyways, this is like something you put on your gas line. We hadn't still figured this out, but I like it, you know? And this is like, last time I used this to pull some boogers out of my nose, it was crazy. Smell it.
No, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how not to do the Spartan brag bag, okay? Cheeto's a good buddy of mine, so he came out. We made that video together. Talking about guarantees and warranties just real quick. I'm going to highlight this because I want to end it with something special. This is the way to create the gap. So when you're $5,000, $10,000 higher, $3,000 higher, you have to go over what your in-house guarantees are. You have to explain them in detail, and you have to have the homeowner put a dollar figure on what those are worth to them. And then when you give price at the end, going over them, then when you go over price at the end, your price is protected now. Okay? You could bridge the gap. Because now maybe your 100% satisfied guarantee, letting them test the system for a full year, they value that at $3,000. And then a $500 no frustration guarantee valued at $500. And then all of a sudden you add up 6 or 7 of them, and they just created $8,000 of value for you. So making sure you understand what your guarantees are, presenting multiple options. Joe Crisera is really good at presenting multiple options, and he's going to go over that. So I'm just going to highlight this. I do 4 options. Anything more than this, typically for me, I think it's overwhelming to the homeowner. But this is very important, okay? This is my company, Royalty Heat and Air. What I have to understand real quick is Google reviews is what gets you in front of your homeowner and gets your foot in the door. But what everyone has to do different in their market right now is make content videos of testimonial videos of how you serve that homeowner in the house, okay? So I have 2 videos. The other video is private labeling. Is something that's very new to the industry, but I think it's very important to private label your stuff. And one thing that we do different in our market is there's nothing sexy about HVAC. Everyone agree? Nothing sexy about HVAC. So what we do is we put LED lights on ours. We make it a little sexy. So let's see if the video plays. Maybe not.
guys in world heating and air, and how to do duct cleaning, sanitization, how to put in a zone board, and also a air scrubber, which is going to clean your house with the melt of the air. They turn customer service into a dream to reality. The product, they're efficient, great pricing, great service, love the team, love the squad. And I recommend to anybody, if you have a home that you own, you know, rentals, I highly recommend them, 100%. You have my word, backing them, guaranteed. Have a good night, guys.
Real quick, this is our install right here, private labeling. My little brother's a genius. Sorry, he is. And our private label, we 3D make all of our stuff with 3D plastic or 3D, I don't know what they say. I don't know it. I'm not a technology guy. But he makes them for us, and they're 3D clips from his 3D printer. Again, we add the lights. We flood our neighborhood. Yes, what we want to do is we want to own the market, but how do you own the market? You got to own one neighborhood at a time. So with all of our installs, you see our beautiful branding. We got these nice little sandwich boards that every single person that goes out there, if I have 4 trucks on an install, all 4 are going to have sandwich signs on there. Now, obviously, we don't want 4 people on a job, obviously, but sometimes we have our parts runner there for 5-10 minutes, and I want that sandwich board out. Like, the power of marketing when you're in the neighborhood is very, very powerful. By doing this, we get multiple installs within that neighborhood every single time. Now, I'm going to close with this. Everyone in this room, this is very important to understand your drive, your purpose, and your why. That's why we're here. My why is my beautiful family, okay? This is my wife. This is my 2 beautiful boys. Can you turn it up real quick? So, when it comes to my family, you guys saw that we adopted both of our boys. And so, life gives you challenges, obstacles. And if y'all don't know and didn't follow my story, my wife and I, we lost our daughter, 6 months old, back in April. So, 2024, this is cold. Cold doesn't mean anything. Unless what? Unless you put it under pressure. So I don't know what life's obstacles, challenges people have in this room, but use my life as a mirror that with life challenges, obstacles, you still got to move forward. Life doesn't stop, y'all. And with pressure, creates a diamond. So I want everyone in this room to know whatever pressure, obstacle, challenges you're going through right now, that's just the pressure for 2025 to make you a diamond. All right? I'll be here all day. I would love to talk to you all, share my experience. I don't want to go much longer, but thank you all for traveling, taking the time, because I'm truly passionate about what I do, and I want to take everyone in this room to the next level with me, because as a leader, it's our mission to bring everyone to the top of the mountain with us. I hate the saying that it's lonely on the top, because as a leader, that means you failed to do your job. So it's my job to take everyone up and find that Spartan within. So check out the podcast, and thank you all. I appreciate you all and love you. Grab your books.
All right, everybody.
Come here.
Let's get Jason Walker one more big round of applause here.